The following is intended only for mature audiences. Discretion advised.
This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Now your host of DR2M, the Jock.
Well, I'm an idiot.
And Double J.
Oh, there's not enough liquor and therapy in the world to undo that. Oh, I touched my mother's dildo.
And welcome to another episode of DR2M. This is episode 12. Who'd have ever thunk we'd make it this far? This is a podcast that isn't your average podcast. I'm your host, the Jock, and rolling with me is the ringmaster of this carnival of carnage. Yes, that was an ICP reference.
Yeah, boy!
It is Double J. On today's show, we're going to take a look at the NFL's protest of the president and his unpresidential actions. We're also going to take a look at what's surrounding college basketball and the fallout that's going on, because basically a dirty scab has just been ripped off, and you're going to get to see festering wound that is the underworld of college basketball and college athletics. Also, to wrap up the show, the hottest chick you ever had to turn down. But first, we have to check out what's in Double J's mouth.
Nothing. I just raced home from fucking work because I got called into a late meeting, and contrary to belief, I do not drink and drive. You know, I've always thought that I might
Isn't it more
spill
fun?
it.
Isn't it more fun, though, to drink and drive?
Sure, but you might spill your drink if you're drinking and driving. So I think that's not very...
That's alcohol abuse.
Yeah,
You don't want to do that.
It's just logical to not do that.
All right. Well, let's kick this thing off the right way here, all right? Starting Friday night at a rally in Alabama for Senator Luther Strange, President Trump stated that players should be fired for kneeling during the national anthem. On top of that, he referred to them as sons of bitches.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
This conversation carried over into Saturday when the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell responded, calling Trump's words divisive and an unfortunate lack of respect for the NFL and the contributions players make to their communities. In the meantime, professional athletes then took to Twitter to sound off, and on Sunday, the NFL players, their coaching staffs, as well as owners, made their own statement as they would lock arms and kneel or not take the field. Or in Pittsburgh Steelers offensive tackle, former Army Ranger Andre Villanueva's case, he would sit there and be solo taking the field for the national anthem. So I got to know, dude, me and you have gone back and forth about this numerous times. Has any of this changed? And I just kind of want your thoughts on the NFL taking just a league-wide protest together opposing the president.
I would like to recant my initial response for the last few weeks about how I feel about it.
Really? We have a change of pace here.
I have a little change of heart, and I think that's okay. I think you're allowed to have.
It's okay.
You're allowed to have an opinion, and the more and more this stuff goes on, the more I see that maybe this isn't such a bad idea. The fact that he just completely attacked the NFL, this guy's got to be some kind of retard, dude. I mean, I can't, you got to be kidding me. I think it was Daniel Tasha said, the only way to make this all better is if you do a little bit of both. You stand there with your arms locked together while standing on a flag.
I seen you like that.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking hilarious. But no, I think it's the more and more I learn about it, and the more people talk. And then he told Steph Curry that since he didn't say if he was coming to the White House or not fast enough, that he's no longer invited.
He's uninvited.
What kind of fucking tool does this guy think he is? Jesus, you're just gonna. What kind of I get it. You're the president. You have a lot of power, but you can't just act like an animal.
Yeah,
he's acting like a fucking animal,
dude. He lives his life in a very weird way where I think he thinks that he rules the world. Like, he is the most powerful guy in all of the world. And you know what? I think that it was put best. It was put best by Greg Popovich, who had this reaction.
You know, we saw it this weekend with his comments about people that should be fired or people that shouldn't be allowed to do this sort of thing. I wonder what the people think about who voted for him, where their line is, how much they can take. I just heard a comment this morning from a NASCAR owner and from Mr. Petty that just blew me away. Where the owner described the fact that he would get the Greyhound bus tickets for anybody to leave and they'd be fired. And Mr. Petty, who said people who act the way we saw on Sunday, they should leave the country. That's where I live. I had no idea that I lived in a country where people would actually say that sort of thing. I'm not totally naive, but I think these people have been enabled by an example that we've all been given. Our country's an embarrassment in the world. This is an individual who actually thought that when people held arms during the games that they were doing it to honor the flag. That's delusional, absolutely delusional, but it's what we have to live with. So you got a choice. We can continue to bounce our heads off the wall with his conduct, or we can decide that the institutions of our country are more important, that people are more important, that the decent America that we all thought we had and want is more important, and get down to business at the grassroots level and do what we have to do. Obviously, race is the elephant in the room, and we all understand that. But unless it is talked about constantly, it's not going to get better. People get bored. Oh, is it that again? They pull in a race card again. Why do we have to talk about that? Well, because it's uncomfortable. And there has to be an uncomfortable element in the discourse for anything to change. Whether it's the LGBT movement or, women's suffrage, race, it doesn't matter. People have to be made to feel uncomfortable, and especially white people, because we're comfortable. We still have no clue of what being born white means. And if you read some of the, recent literature, you'll realize it really is no such thing as whiteness. But we've kind of made it up. That's not my original thought, but it's true. And it's hard to sit down and decide that, yes, it's like you're at the 50-meter mark in a 100-meter dash, and you got that kind of a lead. Yes, because you were born white, you have advantages that are systemically, culturally, psychologically there. And they have been built up and cemented for hundreds of years. But many people can't look at it. It's too difficult.
Now, Greg Popovich kind of opened up a little bit of a Pandora's box there, and he brought to the forefront some issues that I don't know if we can sit there and we can accurately and do a good enough job really breaking down and discussing, at least not in this podcast. This podcast is usually fun. It's usually
right
there to make light of some certain subjects. So I don't know if we really want to delve into everything that Greg Popovich said, but I think his point was the president's kind of out of his mind here. Like, you got to realize that what people are doing is not so much to try to be divisive, but it's more to draw a point to something. And look, the reason we have these conversations and the reason we talk about this, it's good. It's good. I mean, look, if you'd have told me last year that we'd still be talking about this, about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem, I'd have told you you're crazy.
Right.
I never in a million years thought that this would be still going on a year later. Mm-hmm. And we'd be discussing this. Now, for the president to sit there and call these players a son of a bitch and refer to them that way, I mean, he's totally out of bounds. You can't do that.
Fuck no, you can't do that. I like how he's got NASCAR backing him.
Yeah, right.
NASCAR,
right?
Because that's a real fucking sport.
the sport that still flies Confederate flags, right?
Yeah. That's awesome.
You're making everybody's point, Donald Trump. It's not a good one.
Yeah, and anytime he goes to visit another state or do a little rally or something, it's always the states that accept him. It's not the ones that don't accept him, and it's usually the ones that are pro fucking NASCAR all the time, year round.
This was in Alabama is where this started, so. Yeah. I mean, the South, and again, we don't need to rehash, we don't need a history lesson on some of the atrocities that took place during the Civil War and everything that's kind of befell the South here. So, I mean, this is starting to snowball. I mean, you now have baseball players taking a knee. There are talks by Aaron Ward, who is a black hockey player, who said that he has come across a ton of racism in hockey. And look, hockey players are usually, the NHL does a good job basically keeping its nose clean and staying out of politics. It's basically we show up, we stand, let's just go play hockey. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just the way it is. But now this is starting to catch on. And I mean, I personally thought it was a nice scene to see Martha Ford down there on the field with all the players. I thought it was a nice scene to see the owners sitting there standing side by side with their players. That's something that you don't usually see.
No, you don't. My question is, though, what does this do? Like, I get it, it's bringing awareness and stuff, but it's just pissing off the president at this point.
And it's pissing off a lot of America.
And the more he gets pissed off, the more he tweets, and nobody fucking needs that.
Nobody needs that.
Nobody needs him to tweet any more than he already fucking does.
I don't know in the long run. I don't know what it actually does. I think right here, right now, the thing that is probably best is we're having a discussion. We're talking about it. I think people are now being made aware. My mom is ready to sit there and protest the NFL because she's on the opposite side of me. Now, mind you, my stepdad, he's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? He served this country, so he has a totally different stance on it. And I tried to explain to my mom. I tried saying, look, they're not protesting the flag, and they're not protesting the national anthem. They're protesting a system. There are systematic inequalities that are going on. And I tried to break this down for the best I could, and I still don't think she understands where I'm coming from. And I totally get where she's at with it, but that being said, I think she's wrong. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
And there's just a little bit of a discourse there. But I think the purpose of all of it is to just spread awareness. I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where every race is treated equal. I think there might be too much damage done.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. How do we get from point A to point B, and how do we do that without really damaging our culture and our system? I don't know if it can ever be.
Well, we elected President Trump, so that's damaging enough. I mean, I love how the guy, he's worried about who the fuck's standing or not at a sports event when we've got thousands and thousands of people in Puerto Rico that still don't have power, food, or water. Who the fuck knows what that crazy Rocket Man's going to do? And so it seems like his priorities are not in line. It's almost like he's just trying to get a popularity vote again. And that's all he does.
Yeah.
So,
I think you said it best there. His priorities probably aren't in the best line. Again, there are things going on in Puerto Rico. We've got things going on with North Korea. And that seems to be budding and becoming the next world war.
Yeah.
So there are other things that are probably more important than talking about football players and about what football players are doing.
But that's not to say it's not important.
No,
he needs to get his shit together.
Exactly.
And someone take away his fucking phone. I'm tired of reading his stupid tweets.
He doesn't need to be tweeting. I think on that, let's step out. Let's take our first break. Let's come back. Let's discuss what is going on with the FBI, what's going on with the NCAA, and what's going on with college basketball. It's absolutely insane.
All right, guys, if you love Detroit sports, I've got the place for you. It's right here on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. You're going to want to check us out at DetroitSportsPodcast.com. And we talk about all the great action that's going on in the Detroit area, following your teams like the Red Wings, the Tigers, the Pistons, your Lions. I mean, look, football season's underway, so you're going to want to check out everything that's going on. We've got the inside scoop. So check us out on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network at DetroitSportsPodcast.com.
Welcome back. On Tuesday, the FBI dropped an atomic bomb on the college basketball landscape when they sat there and they unveiled that they are going to be taking to task Adidas and the NCAA college basketball coaches, assistant coaches, and their universities. Now, this is a very messy situation. It's a very convoluted situation. And a lot of it stems from Adidas getting mixed up with a financial advisor who then got mixed up with head coaches and assistant coaches on the college basketball level. And all of this was to spend money to drive recruits to schools and then to use those financial advisors who would eventually get a cut of their profit when they made it to the NBA. I think Dan Wetzel of Yahoo Sports probably puts it into the best perspective. Now, this was an interview he conducted with Dan Patrick on the Dan Patrick Show, but I think he does a really good job starting to kind of break it down and flesh it out because this is still in its very early stages.
Well, I think anybody who's followed college athletics, and particularly college basketball, knows that there's, an underground economy basically on steering these players first to a school, particularly the one-and-done guys, which is kind of the problem with the one-and-done rule. You steer them to a school. It's just kind of a circle. You want an assistant coach to get the assistant coach wants the player at their school. A shoe company wants the player at a certain school. So, and then agents and financial planners want to get those players when they turn pro, including the shoe company. And so what we have here is, it appears a pretty well-known or somebody pretty influential as a financial planner was caught up in securities fraud last year, and he seemed to flip to get out of his trouble, and he brought in an FBI agent, undercover FBI agent, who sat in on these meetings and acted as part of his group, and they paid out money to at least 4 different schools. And basically they have an agency, a financial planner donating. I mean, we're talking tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars here to prospects' families, to the assistant coaches at those 4 schools, and involvement from Adidas handing out money to assistant coaches. Also, a player would go to a school and then play for a year and a half, whatever it would be, and then sign with Adidas and this financial planner and this agent. And then they would get their money as they became pro NBA players. There's an enormous amount of money, obviously, these kids make, and they do not have any idea which financial planner to pick. So you have a widespread case. He's got, there are payouts of $13,000, $100,000 to families in here. There's a lot of details that aren't specific, and I don't want to incriminate anyone. And it's a brand new indictment. I haven't read through it all perfectly, so I'm a little bland here on this, but if you put the dots together, this is going to involve major programs as well that aren't indicted, Hall of Fame coaches. Once these guys start flipping, which they inevitably do when dealing with federal heat, this is just one agency. I mean, this is an absolute bomb. I think Seth Davis had it right on college basketball, because everything we know happened is now going to come out in ways that no investigative report or NCAA investigation ever could.
And the college basketball coach that he was talking about there was Rick Pitino. And Rick Pitino was recently fired by Louisville, who is a blue chip school when it comes to college basketball. Now, this all took place on Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, Nike was involved. And it just seems like the feds are just going one major shoe company after another, because they're all involved in this. I mean, let me put it to you like this. If I came up to your doorstep and I said, hey, Jay, you are a really good basketball player. We've got our eye on you. I mean, you're just tearing it up in high school, and we think you're going to make a difference when you go to the college level. We think you can go pro. I'm going to give your mom, who's struggling, $75,000 to come and play basketball for school X. Are you going to turn that down?
Probably not, but that's all. I don't know, because if I think that I'm good enough, just like they do, to play at the pro level, the money's eventually going to come. Eventually it'll come.
But your mom's struggling now, and you got a brother and you got a sister that are starving in the other room, but you're really good, and we're going to give you a full ride to go to school. We're going to give you 75 G's up front. All you got to do is, when you sit there and you go to the league next year, because you got to make a stop off at college first. It's the way the system's set up. Done, yeah. You got to make a stop off at our school. So might as well get paid to do it.
Me as a teenager, I probably would say yes.
And then after that, you're going to go to the pros, and we're going to lace you with an Adidas deal, and after all that, we're going to hook you up with our financial advisor.
Right.
I mean, you would be almost stupid to say no.
Yeah.
Right?
And especially as a young teenager, there's no fucking way you're saying no.
No. I mean, the way it is all set up, I mean, and look, we've talked about
And the players are going to get in trouble too, right?
I don't know if the players are going to be held accountable. There are players who are being by the feds that are being held accountable right now.
I like how
the former players who have come and gone. There's nothing you can do to them. There's absolutely nothing you can do.
Right.
This is the problem with the entire system. The players basically get off scot-free. Usually the coaches get off scot-free. They get to walk away from all of this. I mean, look at allegedly John Calipari.
Yeah.
John Calipari, every school he leaves in a wake of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I believe he's probably going to get hit the hardest here with this new Nike probe that's going on. I mean, look, Adidas just got smushed, right? Adidas and most of the Adidas schools are just about to get taken to town here. Nike's the next to go. After that, it'll probably be Under Armour.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So the feds are just making their way through. And this has a lot of time to play out still. I mean, this is still the infancy of all of this that's going on. But I think the kids are probably hurt the most here. But the coaches take the most advantage of these kids, and the coaches probably gain the most because they're the ones getting the kickbacks. And FBI agent June Kim explains kind of how this works. It's like a multi-tiered system where the coaches are like, hey, look, we've got these kids. They're going to listen to us. You need to give me some money, and then you need to sit there and give some money to these kids, and you need to filter them to our program. And it's so convoluted the way it kind of gets broken down, and they were really good about it. One dude got caught, and now everybody's going to start flipping. Listen to FBI agent June Kim. He's the lead investigator for the FBI on this.
These men allegedly participated in two different but related schemes. In the first, college coaches took cash bribes from managers and advisors in exchange for directing players and their families to those bribers. In the second scheme, managers, advisors, and those affiliated with the sportswear company worked together to funnel money to families of some of the country's top high school recruits, upwards of $100,000, for the players' commitment to play for the schools sponsored by that company.
I mean, dude, you're a high school student and you see your mom struggling. You're going to take that money.
Take the money. And I like how the FBI is like, if we haven't talked to you yet and you're part of this, you should come forward.
Yeah.
That's like...
Because, look, man.
Because instead of going to jail for 50 years, you might go for 25.
Right. It's all going to come to a head here.
Yeah.
I think the bigger issue is, how does the NBA and how does college basketball move forward from this? Because this has been going on for years. I mean, the University of Michigan had a situation like this. You know, just look at Chris Webber, you know. There are other programs that have had this happen to them that have been much worse.
You just got to keep your nose clean. You just got to not do it.
You do. I mean, Tom Izzo, by all accounts, keeps his head above board. And if all programs were ran like Tom Izzo runs his, then we probably wouldn't be having this. And look, this investigation could shine some light on Tom Izzo that's not very favorable, but I don't think that's going to happen, you know? But it is a very dirty, nasty world.
Everybody should be scared. I mean, if you have a skeleton in your closet, it's going to be shown.
It is.
Yeah.
It's going to come out.
It's going to come out because what's going to happen is people are going to start getting in trouble, and they're going to be like, well, fuck it, I'm not going down by myself.
Right.
So then everybody that they know that's doing this shit is going to get thrown under the bus,
Yep.
and then it's just going to be a big snowball effect.
Everybody starts flipping.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to be the last guy to get flipped on because it always hits you.
So if you've ever wanted to be a college basketball coach, now's your time.
Yeah.
Because we're about to have a lot of them fired.
A lot of vacancies are about to open up here. You know what, though? The way moving forward, I think that college basketball and the NBA need to work together and possibly somehow set up a minor league system. Like the way the NHL does it, I think it works pretty good. You can sit there and you get drafted by a team. You're still allowed to play in college, or you can sit there, you can go to a minor league program. The NBA needs to set up some type of a minor league program where if these guys want to get paid immediately, you can make some money, go play basketball, and then you can go to the league. And if you want to go to college, you can still go to college, and then you can go to the league. You know, there has to be something where it's all starting to be done above board. This has been done beneath the bellows of the university for so long, and it's been talked about for so long. And I think the NCAA needs to reinstate the death penalty, where they totally take a school like a Louisville, who in recent years with Rick Pitino, who was just fired, where they've had scandal after scandal after scandal. I mean, they had a hooker scandal. They had Rick Pitino scandal where he's banging a waitress in an Italian restaurant. At some point, everything's got to get cleaned up. And I think you maybe go to something like what they've got with college hockey, they've got with minor league hockey, and they've got with the NHL. They seem to have gotten it right. Maybe sit there and change the structure of how you do it. And that probably would be the best way to do it.
That's probably a good idea. I mean, you have to fix it. And the only way to fix it is to make changes. So,
were you surprised by any of this?
No.
No,
no.
I don't think anybody was.
With how much money like pro basketball players make and the amount of people, it just doesn't surprise me whatsoever, especially basketball. It's always something with basketball. You don't ever hear about the shit with hockey. Football, okay, maybe sometimes with like at the college level, but it's always basketball.
Yeah.
It's always basketball.
Always basketball. It just, AAU coaches get involved, and the shoe companies get involved, and then before you know it, everybody's on the hook here. I mean, my favorite movie when I was a kid growing up was Blue Chip with Nick Nolte.
Okay.
Shaquille O'Neal was in it. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No.
But, it was my favorite movie, and it just showed just the dirtiness that was going on in college basketball.
Surprised LeVar Ball's not getting pulled into somebody's fucking
Well, you know
office.
what? We talk about LeVar Ball, but remember when we were sitting there talking about LaMelo and how LaMelo's going to have his own shoe and how the NCAA is not going to be too keen on that, and what's he going to do and how he might be shorting his kid's future and stunting him?
Right.
He might be ahead of the curve here and might have this figured out. Again, we might have to revisit what we said about LeVar Ball, and maybe we've got to tip our cap because maybe LeVar Ball's up on something here. Maybe going a different route, going to, I don't know, China to play basketball for a year, then going to the league might be the way to do it.
Yeah, I think Lemon Ball is fine. I mean, he's got, his head looks like a fucking lemon with that stupid fucking bleached hair. I think he's fine. He's got that Lambo, Ferrari, whatever the fuck car he got for his 16th birthday. I don't think he has to worry about money, but it's all the other families and players that don't have money or don't come from money or their dad's not making them a fucking shoe deal. And that's the kids that get caught into this little trap. And it sucks.
And that's who you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break here. Let's come back. Let's talk about a fun topic.
Yeah, we're talking about sex.
This is going to be good.
Yes, this is where I come into play.
So let's take a step back here and take a quick break, and let's take a look at something that happened on Saturday.
Hey guys, if you like social media, boy, do I have a treat for you. We've got one of the most interactive social media sites around, and that's the Detroit Sports Podcast on Twitter and on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Detroit Podcast, and you can like us on Facebook at Detroit Sports Podcast. So check us out. Take a look, again, on Twitter at Detroit Podcast, and like us on Facebook at Detroit Sports Podcast. Covering everything. If you like tweeting in between games and you like getting different information kicked out to you, you're going to want to check out both of those sites. Again, on Twitter at Detroit Podcast and like us on Facebook at Detroit Sports Podcast.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
I love college football. You love college football. Everybody loves college football. And some people love college football players. On Saturday afternoon, after the Oklahoma-Baylor football game, a game where Sooners quarterback Baker Mayfield stood at the 50-yard line and referred to himself as Daddy.
You forgot who Daddy is. I'm at the today.
That's right. You forgot who Daddy is. After Mayfield and the Oklahoma Sooners spanked Baylor 49-41 in a barn burner, former adult actress Mia Khalifa reached out to Mayfield on Twitter, tweeting him, "Daddy," at Baker Mayfield 6. Mayfield ignored her original tweet, and the obviously thirsty Lebanese American porn it girl tweeted him again saying, "I promise I'll be good to him. You up at Baker Mayfield 6? Question." Now this was about an hour and a half later. Over 5 hours go by, and Mayfield finally responds saying, "Nah, I got my girl. I'm pretty lucky to have somebody like her in my life too." And then he went on to block her. Now this is funny because Mia Khalifa is notorious for shutting dudes down and then posting their DM conversations on Twitter after she blocks them. So is this just a taste of her own medicine?
I think so. She got shut the fuck down. And it's probably because his actual girlfriend's like way fucking hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think her name's Morgan Mayberry. And, well, she's completely different from Mia.
Mm-hmm.
She's blonde, light skin. She's got a prettier smile.
The total antithesis.
Yeah, the complete other end of the fucking spectrum. And I just can't believe that that he was just like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
No, I'm straight.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally shuts her down. Would you have shut her down? I mean, look, Mia Khalifa, she doesn't do porn anymore, but back in, I think, 2014, she was like Pornhub's #1 porn star. She was the it girl for a long time.
Fuck yeah, I would turn her down. You want to know why?
Why?
Because Michelle would turn into the fucking FBI, and I would have no nuts. Yeah.
Well, but if you were Baker Mayfield, let's say you were somebody else.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. But her vagina looks like a train ran fucking through it. So, I mean, like, and...
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo.
I don't know. I could never date a porn star. There's just no fucking way. Just like, oh, I'm going to work. Oh, you mean you're going to suck some dick? You're going to just get trains ran on you and shit? Like, there's no fucking way.
Have you ever had to shut down a dime piece? Like, before Michelle?
Yeah, because just because they're pretty doesn't mean they're awesome.
You turned them down. You said, you got to go the other way, dude.
Yeah, you got to get the fuck out of here because there's a lot. Okay, so contrary to belief, you know, a lot of, and this will come from mostly ugly dudes, that all hot girls are the fucking best girls ever. I mean, you know a lot of crazy fucking hot girls. And I know some stupid hot girls too. And I just because they're pretty doesn't mean that they're fucking awesome. So yeah, sometimes you gotta, sucks, but you gotta say no.
I want to take you back to 2000. I was a junior in high school.
2000?
Yeah, I was a junior in high school.
It was 5 years before I graduated, so that puts me in the eighth grade.
8th grade for you. Yeah. I'm an old man.
I think I touched my first vag that year.
Well, it was a good year, apparently. At this time in my life, I was dating my first piece of ass ever, and I was like head over heels in love with her, right? It was my first piece.
What was her name?
Her name was Kelly.
Ooh,
yeah.
Slut.
Right. But no, she wasn't a slut. My girlfriend wasn't, but she was. I was head over heels in love with her, man. It was my first ever,
for sure.
Right. So I was totally sprung on her, and there was this other girl that I was working with at the time who was, I think she's about a year older than me, maybe 2 years older than me, and she was smoking hot. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, dude, she's been rated like a 12. And she was really into some real freaky stuff.
Cool.
And she was breaking it down for me as to what she wanted to do and what she was about.
Oh.
And I was just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Do you regret that?
I got my boo. Yes! Absolutely. Hell yeah. Dude, the stuff she was telling me, I was just like, what? No way. Like, for real?
Yeah.
Like, I had like that mouth open, like eyes wide look on my face as she was just explaining to me in detail things that she was into.
Yeah, you're trying to hide your heart.
Yeah, pretty much.
Belt.
Like, I had to sit there and like push it to the side. Yeah, dude, it was a good thing I was wearing an apron at the time because it hit it. Oh, absolutely, I regret that because I ended up breaking up with the girl.
I swear, the real slutty ones will always search out the boys with girlfriends.
Well,
it's like, oh, he's got to, let's go fuck with his
because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
And dude, it was absolutely brutal for me. Absolutely. And she was so hot, man. She would like, look, I had a very attractive girlfriend, and looking back on it, I was an idiot. I should have jumped all over this sex pot and just, let's roll.
But you're a better person for not doing it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes. I try to say that with a straight fucking face.
Okay, cool.
But...
like, if I could go back to 2000 and slap, like, freaking 16-year-old me 17-year-old me, I would sit there and I'd punch me in the face with a brick.
Oh, knowing how many girlfriends I went through for like a 1-week girlfriend or a 2-week girlfriend, or I was with this person for 3 months and they turned out to be a crazy psycho. Like, I would have just not had a girlfriend and just went wild,
Right.
sowed my oats.
Right. Dude, if I would know what I know now then, oh my God.
And I want you to be fucking hard.
But yeah, dude, that was, I had to shut her down. And I mean, she took it like a champ. I
think Homeboy
feel
should
like
have
an
fucked with Mia
idiot.
Khalifa a little bit, though.
I think so too.
He should have like let his girlfriend maybe say something back, or he just should have kept. And then he blocked her.
Yeah,
straight up blocked her.
Yeah,
yeah.
He should have sat there and like put a picture of him and his girlfriend. I don't know, making out or something like that. Like the he's kissing her and he's taking the selfie.
I bet you his girlfriend rocked his world that night.
Oh, probably.
Oh,
You would
yeah.
hope she
You
would
turned
have
down
to.
a porn
She
star
would
for
have
me,
to, right? And like
early birthday present.
This is like no ordinary porn star, right?
Yeah, no,
this is like I said, 2014. She was the it girl.
This is the Tom Brady of fucking porn stars right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
Big
I mean,
time.
and dude, she's a total bopper, dude. Like Mia Khalifa's all over any athlete. But she like on her Twitter, she had a picture of there was a post of her and Deshaun Watson playing hoops at her in her apartment or his apartment.
I just picked him up on my fantasy league.
Yeah, pretty sure she was throcking him out or he was throcking her out.
I wonder if that's why he had such a good game the other week.
It might have been. Might have been. Yeah, dude. Just absolute
that's wild.
Insanity.
So she's only going for like sports players then.
She loves sports players. Like she is all about it. I don't know. It's been her deal since she was.
Some girls
she used to go to Florida State University. She was all about them there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where she got her. Where she started her porn career.
Oh, that's where she got her degree in dick sucking.
Well, she probably got it somewhere else, but that's where she kind of took off. And then I think the university kindly asked her to leave.
Oh, really? No
Yeah.
shit. She never got a degree.
I don't
Probably not.
She was making a ton of cash in porn. So
Yeah, she probably started out doing like cam shows or something stupid.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Look at me. Look at me.
And
go.
then you slowly graduate up
I've never been a big fan of her.
the echelon of
She's
whatever you're doing in porn.
She's too Lebanese for me.
Too ethnic?
Yeah, she's too
ethnic.
Too
as my
ethnic.
buddy Scott would say, she's a little too ethnic.
Yeah,
That's what he refers to my wife as. He was like, she is not like he's like I love your wife. She's nice. She's cool. Like I know if there was ever a chick that was down to ride, she was like ride or die. He's like, your wife's it, right? Like I don't want to ever mess with her. I don't ever want to make her mad.
Barbie girls,
But he was like, I'm not attracted to her. She is way too ethnic for me.
But he thinks complete trash is good looking. That's my favorite part. Too ethnic, but the trailer trash.
That's what he likes.
Drinks,
That's what he likes,
okay.
dude. That's what he likes. That's what he likes, dude. You got blonde hair and you got blue or brown eyes and you look like you just came from the double wide. He's all about it.
Oh, it's gross.
That's his deal.
That's dirty.
Look, man, you can't judge another man on what he likes.
That's 100% true.
And I was gonna say, if anybody in this room right now, it's only me and you, should be throwing a stone, you are the last person.
That's 100% true. Yeah. There was a time where all you needed was my heartbeat, really. You know, two tits a hole in a heartbeat. Let's roll. Unless you were bigger. No offense to bigger people. You know, they need love too, but I just don't have enough love to give them.
Yeah, but you used to slay some chunky broads. You banged your fair share of bigger bodies.
Bigger bodies, not ginormous bodies.
Not ginormous.
We're not talking about bodies of land here.
Continents?
No continents. Like what was that one girl we talked about?
It was the chick who said Usher raped her or whatever, or gave her herpes.
Yeah, he's got her name was like Asia something.
Asia, yeah. She looked like she was as big as Asia.
Oh, that's good shit. Yeah. Nope.
Oh man, so you never had to sit there and you were never like, yo, you not happy. Sorry, dude.
As in like looks wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's just been I can't I still have to be attracted.
Yeah.
This guy, my soldier doesn't stand at attention for anything.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it has to be good looking. Cute face, pretty smile, funny. Intelligence is a huge turn on. That's always been a huge turn on.
Yeah.
Intelligent.
Stupid girls don't really do it for me.
No, unless I'm stupid drunk and I'm just as dumb as they are at that point.
Yeah.
And they're sober. So, you know, that's that. No, there's no fucking way. Intelligence is a huge turn on. Having a conversation with somebody and not having to constantly correct them on everything, that's always good.
Right.
Learning is hard. So, yeah, that makes my junior go.
Makes my junior go.
Yeah, sure does.
Oh, man. That's awesome, dude.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Well,
hey, man, another great podcast.
I liked it.
This was a lot of fun.
This was a good one.
But we sat there beforehand and we were like, look, in and out real fast. Let's just bang this out real quick.
Yeah, this is going to be our shortest one.
We were on a little bit of a time crunch, and next thing you know, dude, it's like 45 minutes just rolls by. And you don't
really?
even
We already
it.
did 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's something close to it.
We suck. We can't even stick by our own word of what we're going to do for this shit.
That's what it is, dude. Look, man, you turn the mics on, you just start talking. That's what happens when two friends sit there and enter a room and just start jibber-jabbing about whatever.
Yep, jib-and-jabbing.
That's
like
right.
It.
All right, hey, thanks for listening. We'll see you when we see you.
See ya.
Bada boom! Realest guys in the room.
Both girls named Kelly. I shouldn't say that.
No, I can't say that.
I can't say that.
If Tomaselli's wife is listening to this,
there you go.
Kick my ass.
There you go. There you go.
Girls, I'm going to be available anywhere you see my name on the marquee, and you can ride Space Mountain all night long for Edo if you're 18 years old or over. Woo!
That's the world champion, the one, the only, Ric Flair. We're coming right back.
Are you idiots still even here?